I was born in former East Germany and developed quite a creative mindset and a hands-on attitude towards life in general, mainly because of the situation back in East Germany, I think, with a lack of resources and the need to survive. So we didn't call it sustainability back then, but it literally was, I think, sustainability as we define it nowadays. So what you could maybe see in more poor or less fortunate areas in the world around, that's sort of like where my background is, and it obviously helped me towards my architectural education later on. So sustainability was not really a word, obviously, which was used, or Nachhaltigkeit, as we say in Germany, back in the days, but it is obviously very relevant with the background I have to nowadays situation, so which was more the national scale lack of resource. It becomes nowadays more a global issue, but similar circumstances. So I was formally educated in Germany and Australia as a financial planner first, and then holding an architectural master degree, which we call Diplom-Ingenieur in Germany. That was before we changed over to bachelor and master, as like most parts of the world. So it was a little bit more practical related and a bit broader also in terms of architecture. We had, for example, model making courses, and also dug a lot deeper into like psychology and sociology of architecture, for example. So then after the education, I lived around the world for different reasons and traveled a lot as well. So I got fine-tuned, I'd say, in Denmark and Scandinavia, and now I'm in Australia for almost 9 years, and I'm based here with my own office, and starting an office in the Philippines, which is a little bit on hold in the making because of the current situation. Well, I'm literally wearing many hats. I'm an architect, I'm a designer, I'm a photographer, sustainability advocate, call me a business hippie, I'm a daddy, I'm wearing many hats. Mainly, this is because I don't believe in splitting up creativity into categories. Like we tend to do this these days, a lot of things. I believe that is mainly because it's easier for people to understand. But I don't believe in it. I think life is a lot more complex than this, and I love to explore my own creativity to the fullest and express this throughout my work as good as I can. In addition, I feel the line between business and life in general is not existing anymore. So it's very thin line, if even. Because if you have your own business, obviously that's what it's like. And also if you have a passion for what you do, it becomes one. So the logical consequence of all of this was for me to start my own design practice, which I did about 5 years ago. It's called DSGN Kartell. And furthermore started, or co-founded rather, a bioplastics company here in Australia, and also was involved in co-founding the Green Building Institute, where we focus on online education for the green building industry from both ends, so the trade end but also the design end. When I started DSGN Kartell, I put down 3 core messages. The first one, I want to do something fun, so I'm actually motivated to get up in the morning. Second one was try to work with positive people. That was mainly due to experience I had before in business, and that means people with a can-do attitude rather than coming with excuses, so it can't be done, those sorts of things. And the third one was constantly educate myself and ourselves as a business. So that's sort of how I started, and I'm still using these sort of credentials for when I take on projects or not, deciding whether I do or not. And the bigger picture behind DSGN Kartell is more going back to what I call the old school approach. If you look at design and architecture, particularly architecture as a meaning, where does it come from? The Greek word architecture can be translated with the master builder, but I believe, looking at the industry and what happened over the last decades, we lost that. We lost that collaborative, hands-on approach. It's more like a competitive, capitalist approach, if you may say so. And we don't want to do this. Like, I believe we need to go back to becoming more hands-on, becoming a more Bauhaus approach kind of thing, learn from different sources. Like, I can talk to a homeless person or a doctor or a farmer and learn a lot more how to really integrate things into the planning and design process, which made a lot more sense for me, rather than just talking to other architects and following the same path. So the thing people call user experience in other industries, it's kind of almost not existing, especially in architecture. Design, yes. Architecture, not so much. And I think it's an absolute gap in the market and totally necessary. I mean, everybody talks about how much we spend time inside buildings, especially these days. But the user experience is not really there, and we're creating literally like holes with almost no views, no air circulation, all those kinds of things. So we want to bring this back, or I want to bring this back with this company to that old hands-on approach. And that reconnects with the next point as well, of going back to the old approach of being actually an innovator. Architects and designers used to be innovators, but nowadays we are more like copy and paste or trend following cat monkeys, and we need to get away from this again. We need to actually reconnect more with the manufacturing side of things, with the production guys, and they need to come our way as well in order to produce customized solutions instead of mass production. I mean, look around, all the cities, they look the same. It's a copy and paste kind of thing, no matter where you go. So I've traveled quite a bit, and yeah, I love places where you come and they have this special identity, their own character, if you may say so. So the goal with Design Kartell is reconnect back with the manufacturers, become another innovator again. And for us as a business, I want to be my own developer and a manufacturer as well in the long run. And you can see here, for example, we have our own little 3D printer in this office. It's starting and the industry is going there, and I'm quite happy to see this with more home manufacturing. And obviously the goal for us with this is to control the circular economy a little bit better for what we're doing in terms of material and usage, but also obviously the footprints. So the next bigger picture for Design Kartell is our multidisciplinary approach. As I said earlier, it's more about going for the broad instead of the small. It has a business background as well, so you're obviously creating different income streams rather than just focusing on residential housing. We will focus on a more broader scale. So could be a graphic design, could be a web design, it could be a book cover, it could be textiles, could be housing, whatever. But because the inspiration could come from so many different sources, I think I don't want to turn down anything. I don't want to like specialize on one thing. I quite enjoy living this broader creation sort of thing. And I think it's also essential these days to do it more like this. Everything is connected. We need the collaboration and learn from each other. So I think this is a bit more exciting for me, if you may say so, than just doing one residential house after the next. One big point for us ever since the beginning, or as I said, even since I was born, is the sustainability factor. So to the point that we don't even discuss this anymore. For us, sustainability is a given and not an add-on. So obviously you have to work around regulations and you have to work around the limitations with this, but we try to do this as good as we can and push also for solutions as good as we can with clients. So that's definite for us. To be honest, there's no other way. Like, we have to do this, we have to do this now, we have to do this fast. So it's just a given. And the last one for this list is, for us, there's no such thing as trends. Do not believe the hype. That goes a little bit together with the manufacturing dream. I don't feel like we're going our own ways. Like, as in a bigger picture society, there's a lot of mass production, and as I said, the cities look all the same, and we need to go back to more creating individual identities, and that's what Design Kartell stands for as well. So to sum up our core beliefs and our points of difference, I think the business model as such is a big point of difference, going for a more collaborative approach. I've never believed in the employer-employee model, so we are, we may say, almost like a modern version of an industry organization, but without memberships, without any like forces to do things. It's more like we come together under the same umbrella with passion and similar goals, and then we just work together and make things possible. This kind of setup I feel is very smart because it makes us more flexible, more adaptable, and also more innovative. As you can probably imagine, having people, sitting in different parts of the world working together. So it's a lot of fun. Not always easy because you're new in the market and trying to explain to people what you're doing, how you're doing things. But I firmly believe this is what I want to do, and we'll just push for that. And for now, it's been working fine. So, and the other point of difference for us is we want to create a different way of design and build. A design that reflects us as individuals and our ever-evolving ways of living, but at the same time reconnects us with nature. So that's literally the goal of Design Kartell with all the things we're doing. And it goes along with what I think is the biggest point of difference in our design is the diversity. So what I said before, we're not just focusing on doing residential houses. You can come to us and we'll happily look at designing sneakers, or happily doing textiles or house design or whatever. So we'll put a team together, we'll have a good network, and as I said, we want to learn on the job, we want to educate ourselves on it and deliver great results. So we'll put the effort in and get it done. So talking about diversity, I just want to give you 5 projects we're currently working on. So the first one is a really exciting little project on designing a sustainable handbag here with a young startup in Australia. So there we are in prototyping stage, and we should see the first prototypes fairly soon. Another project which is currently on hold is a vacation retreat in Palawan in the Philippines. Because of the travel ban, we can't really do anything there. We're planning to do start of construction towards the end of the year. It's not happening for now, it's a bit postponed. We have an ongoing barn renovation project in Germany, which is still happening. So they're still building, but communication obviously is happening only through Zoom communications and telephone and chat and email. Then we have a Queenslander renovation extension project on the table, which is in tendering stage at the moment. So that's going to the market, and that will definitely happen. I just talked to the client last week to get confirmation. He wants to go ahead despite the whole situation. And we also got a little project from Thailand which is an ebook illustration, and that's already in client review as well. So you see little bits of everything. That's what we do. Top 5 advice for designers, architects, especially upcoming ones. Number 1, focus on the can-do attitude and surround yourself with people with can-do attitude. Find solutions rather than finding excuses. Number 2, be yourself. Anybody else already exists. Be yourself, go your own way, and even though it's hard at times, reach out, but go your own way. Number 3, put on your business hat. A lot of companies, especially in the creative industries, are failing because they have absolutely no idea about finance or how to run it or even to understand it. Not saying that you should become an expert in finance, but you do have to understand you're running a business and you need to know what is financially going on in the business. So I call that don't grow big, grow smart. And there's no such thing as endless growth. Put your business hat on and understand what's happening for you, especially as a creative. 4, observe and connect with nature. Learn about alternative use of renewable materials. A very big one, because I don't think that's really on the agenda of most people in the industry anymore. Very important, I think. Number 5, I think the biggest advice I can give is create networks. Create networks by connecting with real people. Yeah, so that's it from me today. If you want to find out more, feel free to jump onto our website, DSGNK.com. More projects, a bit more about the company, about me as a creative superhero. Reach out, connect. Otherwise, have a great day.